Hello everyone, this is Red Robot, and you might be wondering, as the title would suggest, what I have been up to. And the answer is, I've been creating bad maps. That's right, I've been spending quite a bit of time actually playing around with the Hammer map editor and trying to make my own TF2 maps, with varying degrees of success. Well, that's not true. They've all pretty much been bad, but that's alright. I'm still a beginner and still learning. Anyway, I thought what I'd do, because I always wish that other map makers would do this, people with actually good projects to talk about, I really wish they would get in and talk about, just go through their past creations, talk about what they were thinking, what they could have done better, what they achieved, and yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. So here we are on CP Red Robot, although it'd probably be a Koth map if I ever finished it. And yeah, this is just a simple King of the Hill or CP middle point. Now, you might be noticing one glaring issue, and that is the fact that there is a massive building right in the middle of nowhere, blocking all of the sightlines. So snipers pretty much have zero chance to see anyone. I even blocked the only sightlines they had through the point. I'm really overzealous when it comes to blocking sightlines. It's an issue you'll see in all of the maps to come, and something I have to learn to get around. There's just something about having empty space that I can't handle. Anyway, so here's the map. Let's put in cheats so we can no-clip around. I only ever finished the midpoint. Well, finished TM. It's not finished at all. So we've got the main entrance onto the point, this area here, and we've got a side entrance, which lets you drop down here onto the point. And then we have a third entrance with way more cover this way. You can sneak through this little building, or hop around the outside, climb up top, and then you can get around to the drop down. Or you can go around underneath here and get onto the point this way. So I thought it was a pretty fun little midpoint. You can fight along the top and side, go on lots of options, lots of different ways to go. But yeah, the building in the middle, just too massive, blocks all the sight lines and ruin the map. So I scrapped it, and let's move on to the next project. Okay, welcome back. We are here on CP Simple. This was supposed to be a 5CP map. This last point here is sort of based on Granary. I really took to heart the need to add empty space, and so I really did. And it's just a giant, flat nothing. The thing about Granary that makes the empty spaces okay is the pipes that come from above and the little props placed around to jump and duck around, but didn't really do that here. So this last point is kind of barren. It's pretty unfinished, but I didn't finish the map at all, so good thing I didn't put more effort into it. I did toy around with moving geometry on angles, which is something I'll get into more later, hopefully. But nothing really too impressive. I should have made this an instance, and I need to learn to do that still. Can't believe I haven't done that yet. Anyway, I didn't do second, but I did do a little bit of mid. And I actually really kind of like this midpoint. It's the whole theme of the map was going to be sort of like a water purification plant kind of thing, treatment plant. And I thought it would be fun to kind of run around and get your feet wet in the water. One funny issue that I came into that I wasn't expecting was that when the water was slightly too high, soldiers could perform those massive water rocket jumps, and while that was fun, I think it might not have been too good for gameplay. So you've got a lowered control point. This is actually a problem. A lowered control point is terrible because defenders can just sit back and spam down at them with advantage. So probably never going to do anything like this again. I mean, you can make it work, but you have to specifically design the map around it. And one thing I really thought I was clever for was making these pipes into little stairs that you can run up. Really not obvious you can do that, though. I think players would try and jump up them or something. We've got a standard little bridge across the point. Then you've got a little area. So this is sort of, again, like Granary mid. So we've got a little upper entrance that allows you to go down and onto the point this way. And you've got these little side buildings for cover, and you can run around this way. But as you can tell, it's very small. It's heavily inspired by Granary and a little bit by Process, but yeah, it's got none of the size of either. I think they're like around 3,000 by 3,000. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But this map is nowhere near that. It's like 2,500 or something. Very, very cramped. Although one other clever little thing I like is that when you're sitting here, unless you jump to look out the window, players can actually sneak in through this bottom door. And this bottom door is also another way, supposed to be another way, to get up the top. But yeah, for that issue, I just decided to scrap the entire map. But I would remake it in a live stream where I spent 1 hour. I only had 1 hour of time to try and finish a map, and I tried to finish this one, and oh god, was it a mess. So let me get into that. Okay, so this is the King of the Hill version of this map that I made in 1 hour. Turns out 1 hour is not nearly enough time to make a map, like at all. I barely got anything done. So here's spawn. Spawn doesn't open for me because I never bothered to set that stuff up. And we've got different routes to the point. So we've got a route on the right that takes you down straight here onto the control point. Then you've got a route straight through the middle, which takes you out here. And then we've got routes through the side. And this is sort of like a weird maze room. Yeah, I have no idea what I was thinking when I made it. It's pretty pointless. And that takes you out here. Oh, need to fix that. Onto the main entrance. And then we've got, as in the last version, a little dip down here. The drop down to the point. The points are way too open and awkward. Then we've got an area over here which was supposed to be blocked off. And then on the side you can go up these stairs and have a little bit of high ground. But yeah, so from the live stream, thanks to those who came along and watched it, I learnt that 1 hour was not nearly enough time to make a map. So I decided, hey, why don't we try this again, except with 3 hours, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, as soon as I joined, I realized that I don't actually have the 3-hour version anymore. I have the 3-hour version with a little bit of editing later, but this is the closest I've ever came to a finished map. I mean, obviously it's not finished because it's not textured or detailed. I just mean this is a fully playable map at the moment. But it has problems for reasons I'll explain later on that I stopped making it. And I'll start it again, I mean, if I'm even going to do it. So this is CTF Panic. It's supposed to be a kind of close quarters CTF map where the intelligence is pretty hard to defend. You can't just camp it, so it's more about just attacking aggressively and controlling the middle area. Alright, so here's spawn. You've got 3 exits. I don't want to get spawn camped turbine style, so I made sure to add this one. Someone on the TF2 Maps forum suggested that for me. Thank you for that. Alright, you go down here into the intelligence. Now this area is very open. You'll notice that the common camping spots, like back here, you've got just a full walk around, so engineers going to have trouble setting up anything really. Now we've got a drop down area here. I really love this. Spies can decloak right here, and NGs can set up right here with their buildings right in front of them, which is really cool as well. So we've got this area here. I'll get onto that later. Now here's the back flank area. This is the really sneaky way to go down and get to the intelligence. This little wall can be used to surf. If you're an explosives class, you can rocket jump and slide along, which is pretty neat. Really fun when escaping with the intel. We've got a health pack here, and you can jump up the drop down or escape through this way. Now we're underneath, and as you can see, here is the spawn exit here. Cool. I'll go back to the intelligence now, and we'll continue our tour. Over here we've got a kind of side area, just the main route into the intelligence. I really wanted to block sightlines, so I added these little barriers. I didn't want snipers better sit back here, although, coming to think of it, I probably should open them. Once again, I'm just way too worried about sightlines, and I should just be worried more about, you know, good gameplay. Alright, so now we're over here, and you can see the middle area, and we've got a little health pack above a death pit, which I thought was pretty fun. Oh, and you can exit the tunnel this way as well. Alright, so on the left side, you've got entrance into a building here, which gives you a little bit of high ground on the point. And then over this way, you've got a little area that you can either have high ground or you're pushing uphill. So each team, it's mirrored, so it's so each team has a side where they have an advantage and disadvantage. Little area to access the battlements here. And now the upper area to cross the point. Over here, these barriers are supposed to stop sightlines, although there are some that still exist that completely ruin the map and make me want to give up on it completely. And there we go. That's pretty much everything there is to it. Now, originally when I made this map, there were big barriers that covered this area here with just a little door like this. And that was alright because it blocked the sightlines, but then Sniper pretty much, there was no point playing Sniper on this map at all. So I tried to fix it by adding cover in the middle there, and this wall to block the sightline from down here, because like you could snipe from all the way back here, which is ridiculous. But I feel like there are so many sightlines. In TF2, it's a good idea to generally keep the sightlines below 3,000. And there are so many just tiny little angles you can get above 3,000 sightline as Sniper. I don't know, let me know if you think that's really that bad and that I should give up on it. But yeah, this map is fully playable now. We could chuck some bots in and I could run around and shoot them. The bots are crazy, they cap so quickly. But yeah, so this is CTF Panic, and let's move on to my final project. Alright, and here is the final and most unfinished project. You can see a little seam in the displacements here. Basically, it's just me toying around with displacements, and then I had a pretty fun idea. You know how in Gullywash you've got that control point that goes around the little circular structure? Well, I thought, what if the control point went around a piece of land that held up an arch? So I was thinking it would be pretty cool to have an entrance to mid here. And then you've got like this massive amount of high ground here. And then on the point, you've got a control point that's around a circle so you can play around it, shooting rockets like this. I don't know. I think it'd be fun, and it looks pretty cool. One other issue I have with my maps is that, like, I don't really make my brushes and my displacements into anything. They're just sort of boxes with hats, but this is an actual, like, an actual structure that's visually here already, and it's much more fun to work around. One issue I see with this so far is that it's probably a little bit high. I mean, it's excessively high. But at the same time, I didn't want to restrict players, you know, rocket jumping around underneath it. Although it kind of does that already, now I think about it. Yeah, so this should just be a midpoint for a 5CP or a Koth map. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, that is all I have to show you today. I will continue working away at my map projects. I think a fun way to do it, I've got so many ideas, way too many, is that I'll make a video presenting a whole bunch of my wacky ideas, and then you guys can vote on which one that I should make and bring to a playable state. Then I can talk about it once it's finished. That could be a cool way to involve you guys in the process. Anyway, that is all I have for you right now. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys next time.